Alright, lads. I'm back for another one. Back for another tips video. Last week didn't go too well. We would have won the ACA if Andre Feely didn't decide to sit into a guillotine for some strange reason. But he was getting hammered by Milky Costa. I think Milky Costa would have won that fight. The underdogs, we went 3 for 4. I'm pretty sure. I think the only one that lost was the Lion because I disrespect Maddox Pouts because he came out there and looked very, very good. But let's get down to this week. Let's get down to this week. Let me stop the app and let me get into the lock of the week.
Sam, the future, Patterson!
And we've gone with Sam Patterson. As you can see, he's fighting Danny Barlow. I think these odds are kind of a bit mad because I don't think there's a lot to stretch Danny Barlow on Sam Patterson, to be honest. I think Sam Patterson has the better wrestling and grappling just to an extent, and I think the stand-up's very similar. Of course, Danny Barlow's nickname is Left Hand to God, so, he will try and land that left hand. I don't think he has knockout power in it. I think it's just a kind of stinging shot that stays. If he can get one or two, yeah, okay, Sam Patterson's in trouble. But I think Sam Patterson uses his range correctly. I think he'll land significant strikes to kind of zap away. I think the lead jab's going to be heavy in this fight by him. I think that's going to land quite a bit. And even if it does get into a bit of danger, I think he can wrestle a bit of grappling, take him down. I think it's going to be a 15-minute slog, going to be a 3-round decision, probably a split. But I do think Sam Patterson takes this at 12-5. Seeing those odds, I can't really say no. I think from the tape I was able to watch of both of them, I think Patterson has way better distance management. I think that's the thing, that's the key to winning this fight. He has very good as like boxing, but I think the range distance, the way he's going to be able to keep the range, I don't think he's going to be cutting in too much on Danny Barlow, and I think it's just going to be a rangy fight by him. Danny Barlow's going to have to try and cut the space, and I think that's where Sam Patterson takes him down. I think he grapples him on the cage. So I'll go with Sam Patterson to win, take a 15-minute decision. But anyways, let's get into the favourites. Right, lads, here we are at the favourites. Now, again, the favourites are not going to be crazy this week because I think this card is very crazy on odds. We're going with Esteban Ribias for the first one. I have no idea how he's back in the Apex. That is very confusing. I'm not sure if the UFC are punishing him for beating Dan Zuber or for taking away a prospect or what it really is, but this man, I think, gets a very, very good rep from what he got on Twitter. He fights like a gladiator or like a modern day Spartan or gladiator. Because he does. He is must-see when he walks into the octagon. That man has some of the crispest striking and some of the best head kicks I've seen in the sport. It's really interesting to see him fight because I think he keeps excellent range management to land those kicks. Even in kind of close, he can. Against Hooper, I thought he was going to lose, but then he really shocked everyone and beat Hooper in the Sphere. It was a brilliant fight by him and really, really good. I'm just surprised he's at the Apex to fight Nasir, Nasat. I can't think of I can't say a second name, but to fight Nasat, who, look, at the time, maybe about 3 years ago, I would have said it was a fair top 15 prospect to put him against. I don't think anymore. I don't know if he's doing it in this fight to be active or the UFC are punishing him. I don't really see a way that Haskrat can really take it. Haskrat, I just said it, can really take this fight. If I'm going to be 100% honest, I don't see it. His wrestling maybe could be an issue, but I think if he goes for too many takedowns, he'll either gas or fall straight into a knee, because Ribias is quite smart in that aspect, but we're going to pick Ribias to win that one. We have Kape Mascal. He's fighting Ricardo Ramos. To be honest, I just think Chaspial, with the odds, I think this is very fair. I think he's the one to maybe overwhelm Ramos. Maybe just drag him into a deeper waters than Ravos has had. Ravos has been guillotined twice in the first round by Charles Jourdain and Julian Erosa. And to be fair, I wouldn't see anything different from it. Maybe a guillotine, bulldog choke, something like an anaconda from Chepe Mascal over here. I think it could easily happen. He did beat Josh Cowabell in a split. That's not very high level. I do think it is a bit of a weird one to put Chepe in this sort of situation. I kind of thought he would have been fighting higher, if I'm going to be honest. Thought he's a bit closer to top 15, but, age might play a factor. He's on a 4-fight winning, he hasn't lost since 2022. He's beaten some great guys, Jack Jenkins, Trevor Peaks, Morgan Sherrier, Damon Jackson, all really, really good people to have beat, and I think that will just edge it for Chepe Mascal. I think he's just a better fighter between the two. I think realistically, I think wherever the fight goes, he wins it. I think his striking's better, his wrestling's better, and I do think his submission's very live in that fight. Next, we go over to the one that might look a bit strange to be in the favourites. The reason I'm going to add this here is it's so close to evens. It does bring up the value of Yaka. I do think that Charles Johnson is the complete right choice against Tamimov. To be honest, I've watched a lot of Tamimov in the first round. I do think this is a bit of a crazy line as well, because if you watch him, he only really has mad powerful striking for the first round. Then he overextends and loses a lot of power and stamina and energy. He just overextends on most of his shots, and they do come looping and wild. But when you fight someone who has head movement, who isn't CJ Vergara, you're more than likely not going to land a lot of those. On the Japanese regional scene, in all those other fights, it is the exact same. It's a phone booth fight for the first round, and then a bit of stamina goes, and then he starts to lose power. In the other corner, Charles Johnson has never been finished in the UFC. He's never been finished in MMA, and I don't think this is going to happen. I think he might get dropped once or twice in round one, to be honest. I think he might lose a 10-8 in round one. But I think as the fight gets later on, I could see a Charles Johnson maybe third round finish. I think the same way he finished Joshua Van with that uppercut, I think I could see it happen again. I just think Timanov's going to come in here with no real head on the line sort of centre of movement, because his stamina is going to be zapped, and then Charles Johnson's going to start raining in. And I do think the uppercut might land again, but we're going to pick Charles Johnson to win at 21-20. I think that he's probably one of the smarter snipes for this. And then we go to John Castaneda, who is fighting De Silva de la Andre. Yeah, this one, realistically, I think the stronger wrestling goes to Castaneda. I think this is going to be 15 minutes, maybe a submission's live in the card. I think they're very even in strike, and maybe DeAndre has a bit more of the advantage in that aspect, but I think John Castaneda just kind of has the grappling. I mean, I think the reason I've picked this one is just because every time De La Sandra kind of pushes up in quality in any real impact or state, he's never really been able to do it. He lost to Said Nurmagomedov, Miles Johns, Leon Murphy, Peter Yan, Rob Font. Now, he has beaten some names. I just don't see it anymore. I think the age side's a bit too far gone with him at 39. This could be a retirement fight. I don't really think there's going to be a lot happening in this one. I think John Castaneda will probably just close to it for easy 15 minutes. I thought he beat Daniel Marcos in their fight. I genuinely thought he got robbed. I really didn't think he lost that fight. And again, he's been able to take out Moon Gudov, who's, been on a bit of a tear recently, a heavy wrestler. John Castaneda was able to neutralize a lot of that and keep it up on striking where he took it. So I'm just going to say that's going to be the 4, and we're going to get down to the underdogs. Right, first fight in the underdogs was going to be Cody Brundage. Another fight to me that makes absolutely no sense on an Apex card, or in general. I don't know why Cody Brundage is in the co-main of this, where he's fighting a lad who hasn't won his last 3 fights. Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis. The man's 3-4 in the UFC and has lost his last 3. That's to Robocop, Marc-Andre Bennett, who actually finished him, and Zachary Reese, who finished him in 20 seconds. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know the Brundage have an original opponent that fell out. Sorry, Julian Marquez has lost 3 fights, like I said there, but he actually is stepping on a short notice, so that would make sense. Doesn't change the fact I think Brundage is going to submit him in maybe a round. I just think his chin is gone. All those finishes go by the same pattern, that he just doesn't have a chin anymore, the Cuban Missile Crisis. I really think it's weird that Cody Brundage is 13-10 when he should easily win this fight, especially for someone coming in on short notice who isn't really good. I don't know. I just think chinny man, Brundage has the better wrestling, better ground game. I think it's the tired aspect too, coming out short notice, especially for Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis, who walks around like a very big fucking 185er, say, walks in around a very big 185 middleweight. Like, I don't think this is going to go any other way than Cody Brundage finishing him from tiring him out. And yeah, I'm going to have a props video or like a lines video to bring out a few of these when they become available, so I won't say anything here, but yeah, we'll keep it going. Next one I'm going with is Lucas Almada, who's fighting Danny Silva. Look, I thought Danny Silva was good in the Contender Series. I thought he was decent. Maybe you go outside season 7, season 8, he probably wouldn't have got a contract, but the show's become oh, you in the card and won. Here's a contract. It's like, it's become very, very fucking easy. I don't think that Danny Silva really has a way to win this fight. That's why I'm picking Lucas Almeida. I just think Lucas Almeida's power in basically all 3 rounds. He's a dog. He really likes to scrap. I think his power in the first round, he's dropped Timmy Kajamba lad 3 times in their fight, and he's dropped a lot of people in the first round with his power. It's very scary. It's just he gets slower and slower as the fight goes on. I can see Danny Silva and him going to decision. Actually, I don't see Lucas Almeida finishing this. I think I can see him drop him once or twice in round 1, and then just another kind of 1-1 going into third. I think he just does enough to win a split, maybe even a robbery on the cards. But I can see Lucas Almeida taking this fight. I just wasn't really that impressed with Danny Silva, and I'm still not. I don't really think he's been that impressive. His only win in the UFC is to Josh Cabrillo, which I just said is not a very, very credible win, which it isn't. It's a split decision over a lad you actually had weight above. Realistically, not something I'm that interested in. I think Danny Silva is another hype product. I think Lucas Almeida could definitely beat him, considering Lucas Almeida is 15-3. He is 2-2 in the UFC, but you have to look at the competition he has had. Like Mike Tizzino, he finished him in the third after a great fight. Pat Sabatini, to get him back in 2023 probably wasn't ready for someone like that. And then Andre Fili in 2023, you gave him 2 kind of hard ones, and then Timmy Kachamba, who I said he should have finished, but Timmy Kachamba had some chin in that fight and could scramble to legs. That's maybe the only thing I can see Danny Silva doing, is scrambling to legs properly and getting sort of minor takedowns. Now, I'm not saying that Lucas Almeida isn't a fucking submission threat, because he is. He has 5 wins by them. Again, if they're too tired, I could see him hopping a back. Ramil has got 2 finishes, 2 KOs in the UFC so far, of Franny Garcia and Jo Young Lee. To be fair to Jo Young Lee, when I remember, I actually was going against Ramil that night till he walked in and spun his jaw, which was ridiculous. The reason I'm picking Ramil here is that I think William Gomis is very overrated. I don't think he's won his last 2 fights. Definitely didn't win his last fight. That was just French judging being completely fucking... sorry, not his last 2. He beat fucking Yaris Gomi by a body kick. But Jerson Brito didn't win that fight. There's no fucking point. He didn't win it. He was in France. He got robbed out the hole. There's no physical way he won that fight. And I think a lot of fans would love to see him get knocked out. And this is what I think is going to happen here. I think Arthur Emil realistically comes in with this big, fast power again. I think it's going to be a hard 5 minutes. He's 10-0. I think William Gomis, will struggle to try and close the distance and try and get him to the mat. I think it's one of those things where I think Arthur Emil is just going to be able to keep popping back up and land big, big strikes. It could get finished in the first, but I see decision coming. I think of a 15-minute slog, but I think it would be an interesting fight, and I do think this Apex card has some great fights on it. I when I first looked at it, I saw 2 women's fights. Oh, fuck, but decent card, decent. I won't say it's mad, but you have to expect, a bit less than the Apex. Let's be realistic. And then we go to the last fight of the night, which I really can't understand. If I'm going to be 100% honest, this one to me doesn't make a massive amount of sense, because Mario Pinto is such high odds. He is 6'5", he has 79 reach, but whatever. But the man hasn't really beaten anyone, and even on the regional scene, he didn't look that good. He could get taken down and wrestled by a strong grappler. He just gets lucky because they don't really have the gas tank, and he's able to stomach up and finish them a lot of the time, or go to the decisions. It's not really that interesting to me. I don't think he was even that good in the Contender Series. He got the first round knockout, but I thought he looked laboured, maybe a bit too slow almost. And he wasn't using the reach, realistically speaking. It was one of those ones where I don't really like Austin Lane. Not many people do like Austin Lane, let's be realistic. But I do think that the man has an 80-inch reach, 6'6". He's very capable to stand up and be there. And look, is Robert Delasius fight? I'm not going to put on a high pedestal. Robert Delasius had no idea what he was doing in the sport. That's probably why you don't sign lads off 30-second KOs. But he didn't really know what he was doing in the sport. But I still thought Austin Lane showed good wrestling and good grappling to hold him down. The takedowns look solid. He is chinny, very chinny. I won't argue that. I think I'm putting this one down a bit more as long as he doesn't get caught. Because again, he's lost to John Denise, Justin Taffa. But other than that, it realistically has just been strikes in the first round. I think if he can avoid them, and maybe, get the grappling going early and get him off the cage, get him, kind of thinking, it could be a different story. But I'm going to pick Austin Lane just so I think the wrestling is there. I don't think Pinto's 15-minute cardio. That's the way I'm going to put it. I think that if you were to give him 15-minute cardio, then yeah, grad, I would pick Pinto. I just think the line is mad, and I think Austin could be great money here. But we'll get down to the Aka. I'm actually just sitting there now, and you can see this. Austin Lane has actually moved up in odds at 10-3. I still think it's man. Looks that man has moved up. The other two have gone down. Of course, there's going to be line movements. I usually try to get you to back these, or if you're watching this now, to back them now, because, obviously I'm giving you lines that will change. But we'll go down to the Aka now. This is probably going down money because I just realised that Charles Johnson's definitely moved in odds. Charles Johnson, John Castaneda, Kape, Mascal, and Rebus, as I said. I think those four are all going to win it. I think Charles Johnson's the only real edgy one there, but he has actually pushed into now a pick him on the favourite, so I guess me having him in the video isn't wrong. But if you did enjoy the video, and you want to see more of this, put it down below what your predictions are. I will do a full card breakdown and a props video just a bit after this. I just want to get this one done and uploaded. Okay, if you did enjoy, please hit the like button, if you're not, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.